Welcome to GCC Giants. In this episode, let's talk about the platform of platforms, building scalable and connected GCCs. We're at a fascinating point in the evolution of technology and GCCs. For years, GCCs were engines of scale, process, and efficiency. But the new frontier is all about platformization, creating interconnected systems that are not just fit for one business line or geography, but extensible across domains, industries, and even ecosystems. The idea of a platform of platforms is about convergence, the fusion of AI, data, IoT, and digital reality to create architectures that are interoperable, adaptive, and intelligent. It's not just about products anymore, it's about building foundational layers on which entire industries can innovate, collaborate, and transform. And India's GCCs are increasingly at the center of this shift as strategic design and innovation partners, shaping how global organizations reimagine their digital backbones. To explore this transformation, I'm delighted to welcome two leaders who are deeply engaged in building these platforms of the future. Please join me in welcoming Navaneet Mishra, Senior Vice President and Head, Hexagon R&D India, leading innovation in digital reality and autonomous technologies. And we also have with us Sanjay Agrawal, the Director of Finance and India Site Leader, TomTom India, driving operational excellence and platform scalability in navigation and location services. Thank you so much for joining us in our studios today. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now, I'll start off with you, Navneet. What does platform of platforms mean to you? And how are you operating that in your GCC in India?
Yeah. So, see, it doesn't happen in day one. Yeah. So, what typically happens is initially you start as a thought, as an implication. GCCs, we are at a lucky place that these are the India centers where multiple divisions have link. You have access to everybody's problem. You have access to the different kind of solutions that are being worked upon, and you have access to can there be or is there a possibility to create a solution which will serve all of them? Yeah, and that could be cross BUs or cross functions. And for example, we have created. Let's talk about one of the things that is now running and it is being used by a lot of internal divisions across Hexagon is HexSearch, which is a platform, which is an agentic AI platform used by different people for different purposes. Some are using it for customer support, some are using the same platform for getting the Salesforce data and acting it, and some are using it for to help the customers run their own operations better. So very different use cases, and how it could happen or why it could happen is because we as only location A had access to the top end technology and B knew about all these problems in advance. And this is the end result. But if you see as a process, I already had for last 5 years a KPI, how many large architectural solutions are A created, B being shared by at least 100 of the employees, and C is there what kind of rating does that new solution receive. So if you do this over year after year, if you do hackathons where multiple divisions collaborate to give a solution, these are the end results that you get, which are platform of platform.
All right, so at the end of the day, it has to be a collaborative effort to achieve that sort of
Yeah,
excellence.
silos have to be broken. Only
Yeah.
then you can achieve something
Okay,
like this.
yes, absolutely. Now, shifting focus to you, how do you think that GCCs today have been able to become innovation hubs? What are the key shifts, perhaps in culture, talent, or leadership that have enabled this?
See, in my view, initially when GCC journey started in India, it was more of a things to do, basic things, cost effectiveness, cost arbitrage. That's the thing which started in India first. But slowly, once GCC matured itself, people have doing same job again and again. So they started thinking innovatively, differently. It's a customer centric attitude. Do things differently, and that's what is enabling people to innovate. And even there's a mindset shift even at the global end, where they are allowing autonomy to Indian GCCs to think differently, innovate. They're getting involved into global projects, which is making this shift happen.
Well, I think India GCCs are really driving true value now for their global organizations. And how do you think that this cross collaboration between teams, you said you broke down silos, and that's very important, between teams and also across geographies are happening to make a global impact? Perhaps what were the challenges that you faced in breaking down these silos and how did you get here?
Yeah, yeah. So see, breaking down the silos within India is rather easy. It is more about what culture you sow or you define, and what cultures your leaders are showcasing on day-to-day business, day-to-day actions that are happening. So this is the easy part, where you do it within India, breaking of silos. But if you have to impress upon your global stakeholders, then it's not so easy. The culture, understanding how does Europe act? What is the nuances between a Swiss person and a German person? How a UK person will talk. If you have counterparts in US, how they speak, how is that to be interpreted? Once you have figured those out, you have to also, and sometimes what happens is, and this is a very tactical and operational answer. What happens is, when you set up a meeting, there are predefined agenda items. You try to deviate, they don't like it anyways, because that's not how they have been working. So you have to find a chance to bring them over here, and then agenda is in your hand. And that is when the right stories have to be told, that you know what, while for your BUs we are doing ABC, but look at this other BU who are already at BC, D and E, D, E, F. So that is when they start learning and understanding the value of how different things can come together. So that is really in operational stuff, where you are breaking these silos with the global guys and saying them that, okay, in India we can do not only what you're asking, but something more. And for this something more, you don't have to immediately think about an additional headcount, because for them it's a strange concept, that why will somebody work beyond his own given task just for the heck of learning. But here in India, we are a set of volunteers. We always want something more exciting and try to give ourselves to it. So once they understand this, that is when these additional things starts happening, and that's when you see these boundaries across geography and cultures being broken and new solutions getting created.
So employees who are actually a set of volunteers and who want to go above and beyond,
Yes.
and that can really confuse
Yeah.
and befuddle other
Yes.
people.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because for them, many Western mindset, they say that, okay, I'm paid for 8 hours, work for 8 hours. Here we are not. Here, okay, what new skills did I learn? Is my CV better 6 months after today than what it is now? So this is a different way of growing and thinking here.
I think it's also a necessity, because purely by function of numbers, it's so much more competitive here. And I'll take that across to you, Sanjay. How do you think that the talent here is perhaps at an advantage because of the competitive nature of our jobs across industries?
See, the one good thing about India is we have good English speaking population. In terms of talent. Even when we have to scale ourselves, that helps us compared to other countries when you talk about. So it's easy for us to pitch our ideas to the group office because of the good English speaking population. And as I said earlier, that again and again people are thinking differently now. People don't want to do the same task again. And now AI is a buzzword. Everywhere you talk, so many seminars you attend, everybody's talking about AI, innovation, what can we do differently. Even there are so many colleges who are coming up these courses of AI. So the thing is, now everybody don't want to be into stereotypical clerical type of a job. They want to think differently. They wanted to innovate. They want to do something. We have so many young people who are starting their own startups at the age of 20, 22. It's too young, but they have their own startups. So that's what is changing. The mindset of Gen Z, what you say, they are evolving, they are changing. They want to do things differently. They don't want to go into historical type of work, and which is helping India GCC as well. Because once they get into India GCC, they think differently, they innovate. And as a thing, rather than doing historically transaction level task, we are moving towards innovative tasks.
I think that entrepreneurial mindset really sets us apart from the rest of the world for sure. Talking about Hexagon, how does your R&D center in India accelerate innovation while also ensuring that these platforms are extensible across industries?
Yeah, so see, innovation mindset is is something which you have to sense even at the time of interview itself. If you're only check performance and skills, then you will miss it. You have to also check the possibilities. So what we did is, for example, we first retrained our hiring manager. What are the skills that you will look for when you're talking to someone? And then once we said that, also to the leaders and to our own quarterly performance reviews, is that let's not only stick to ABC delivery happened or not, but did that guy start the spark? So while you create all these pieces, like you do regular hackathons, you do technology days, you have an IP core group which helps people to patent their things, you enable external innovations with academia and startups. So while you do these pieces, but all of this will work together only if they see that these behaviors are getting rewarded. So you will have to promote now people who are better listeners, who have larger customer empathy, who are able to bring multiple skills together. So not only tech, but also non-tech, like communication, like confidence building, like being coached to the team. So when you grow these people, that's when everybody realizes, oh, this is the path to follow now. Okay, this is what I will do, so that organization recognizes us. So that way you are able to sustain and make this innovation mindset thrive in the system.
Okay, so not punitive, which was the usual, but actually rewarding those and incentivizing this innovation mindset. That's a great way to go about it, indeed. What approaches have worked for you at TomTom India?
See, in terms of approach, like TomTom India, TomTom is into maps and location-based technology products. So basically, what I say, in India, we have functions for all the verticals, whatever is in TomTom. In TomTom, there are 3-4 main production centers. Although we create maps for more than 100 countries, but out of more than 100 countries, out of these 3-4 centers, in India, we have data production center, we have engineering center. So data production center creates the maps for the so many entities. Like when I say create the maps, like we have navigation solutions. So turn by turn restrictions, one way, two way, vehicle speed limits. Then you need to have points of interest. What do you mean by points of interest? Is okay, any school, building, landmarks has to be put into the map. So all these activities are done by the Pune team. Again, for the worldwide locations, I would say, and they collaborate with other teams as well. There are 3-4 centers with whom they collaborate. And second thing is engineering team. What engineering team does, because creating a map is a voluminous activity. There are so many points of interest, so many addresses which you need to put into your map, and this engineering team creates the tools to create in a faster way, do the quality checks. And we have teams across the globe, like when I say different centers. So there are projects where teams from each region works in and collaborate with each other to create this map in a better, efficient way, quicker way.
So, when you were growing your GCC in India, what was the biggest problem that you tackled? Was it growing in scale? Was it compliance? Or was it putting that pedal on innovation?
No, definitely, like I said, ki mapping is a niche industry. So definitely talent is one thing, because you need to attract the right talent and need the right skill set, because there are not so many GIS companies in India as well. So that was one of the talent, attracting the right talent, and then going into innovation phase. Like you need to ensure that you build up that scale, because you need to have so many manpower. Because few years back it was a labor intensive industry where people will go in the on the roads with GPS devices, collect longitude, latitude, and then they would digitize it. But now slowly things are getting automated. Things have changed. Earlier, when there is any change on the road, it would come into the map after 6 months. That was just gestation period a few years back. Now we are working on a thing how it can be live. As soon as there is a change, it should get reported and should get corrected into the map immediately. So that's the scale we are building in. And whenever you build up scale, so this is technical. Otherwise, even when you work on any function or anything, controls is non-negotiable. Compliance thing is non-negotiable. So you need to ensure that you have the proper compliances in place whenever we have any standard processes. So when I say when we build up scale, it can happen only when you have standard processes, standardization. And while building those standard processes, we ensure that we have the proper controls in place, because without that you can't grow, or there can be lot many risks. So for example, since in mapping industry I can share the example. So when you see the map in India, so you have Pak occupied Kashmir, POK. You have to ensure that country boundaries are mapped properly and shown properly. Otherwise, it's a big compliance issue.
Of
So
course,
these are the
yeah.
big challenges what we face.
Okay, so you have to make sure that you're compliant and also you have to be agile
Correct.
to make sure that those boundaries are accurately reflected every day. Coming to you, Navneet, now with automation being so heavy across industries, you are a company that does R&D on this, on digital transformation and on automation. The fact that it has now become so common across industries, do you see that as a disadvantage to you because you are specializing in it, or do you see that as a challenge to grow your ecosystem?
Not a challenge. So But yes, I mean, you have to skill people in a different way as well now. So, for example, we are in digital reality space and not autonomous solutions, and these are deep tech in essence. Yeah. So, when you talk so much about technology, you have to ensure that people who are working with you value the solutions. Let's assume you are working on a solution which is helping simulate Mars rover land on Mars. You can't have non-passionate people working on these projects, right? People have to bring something beyond from the regular day work, right, to this. So what we realize is that we have to invest. So see, couple of things are common. You have to be curious. You have to try, learning the new technology. But here, people who are ready to adapt new technologies, who are ready to jump on if something exciting is coming. So the moment you have such people in your team, then I think it gets more or less sorted out. Yeah.
So not just early adopters, but enthusiastic adopters.
Enthusiastic adopters, people who want to look for these solutions and then they're going. See, everybody uses cloud solution, but are you proud to use a cloud solution which will help, I don't know, create the longest tunnel of the earth below the Alps? So are you helping somebody like CERN to design their accelerators? So, are you helping measure the Red Bull car to the precision of nanometers so that they can win the race by fraction of second, not even a second? So if you are passionate about these things, that is when you will be happy to adopt something new, and those are the kind of people that you.
Okay, so scaling new frontiers, pushing new boundaries, those are the people you want. So that ties into my last question. Looking ahead, what do you think is going to be the next step for India GCCs? We are already innovation hubs right now. We moved away from being cost arbitrage centers. What will be our next role up the value
See, very
chain?
surprisingly, the answer is not in technology or tech capabilities. I mean, for me, what I have experienced now 3 decades is that the answer is now in the soft skills. So, if you have those people who are able to communicate effectively, who are able to present their viewpoint, who are not shy to talk in one-to-many meetings and challenge the existing paradigms. So, if you have those kind of people within the company, that is when you will actually move from executor to decision makers at scale. See, there are few things which are happening. Already we have few people in India which has global responsibilities. But if you want that to happen at scale, then you need necessarily these skills like customer empathy, making some solution ease of use, etc. So once those are very internalized and people are able to communicate, that is when the big shift will happen and the decisions will be made here in India and not somewhere else.
All right, so our advantage, which is the fact that we're very competitive, can also perhaps lead to the fact that we could be slower on our soft skills such as empathy, right?
Yeah, I will not hide the fact. See, the top leaders, what we can do is we can ignite, but we cannot scale. Me talking to a global SVP or a CTO will make 1 or 2 projects work. But if you want that to come down, then all your mid-level leaders should be communicating to their counterparts in a very effective manner of what they can do and how.
In a magnanimous manner,
Yes,
and not
yes.
stemming from insecurity.
No, not at all, not at all. Just saying that, hey, why don't you think about it? Here is the better solution in mind. Why don't we discuss this?
Well, that's a very interesting push that you're envisioning, and right, I think if we concentrate on that, then we could truly be a holistic power in all sense. Yeah, that's a very interesting answer, and I'll come to you now.
Yeah, so
Sanjay.
it's mainly the proactiveness, as he rightly said, that employees need to be proactive rather than reactive, and that's what most of the people do. But slowly, as I said, this is changing. People are becoming more and more proactive. They are vocal, and they are playing a key role in strategic decision making at a global level as well. You see, so many Indians have moved to global roles. Even in TomTom itself, we have many people who moved to global roles in our head office, and that's what is happening across other industries as well. So slowly, this shift is happening, and I won't say slow, but it's picking up now.
Okay.
So it would grow and would grow only.
Okay, so slower earlier but accelerated over the last few years. And yes, I think now people are becoming more unafraid to ask for their place at the table. And I think once we have our soft skill in place and we grow to have a bigger space at the table, I think India could truly be poised to be an even bigger GCC leader, but already I think we're right at the top right now. 1,700 GCCs are thriving in India, and more to come, and growing at a fantastic pace thanks to leaders such as yourselves. Thank you so much for joining us here today and breaking down platform of platforms, how you are building scalable GCCs. I think this has been a great conversation indeed. Thank you. Thanks so much. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode of GCC Giants. You saw these two leaders, how they are leading their GCCs and making sure that they're breaking down those silos, ensuring there is a value being driven for their global organizations, and also doing that while keeping talent at the center of it all. And for more such lessons, remember to stay tuned to our episodes of GCC Giants.